It would seem as though.
It would seem as though we're back and that I have made it safely home from my trek to Southern California by car, which I will never, ever do again. Girl. But welcome to another episode of It Would Seem As Though, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing.
Mostly nothing.
I'm Vesta.
I'm very sick, also known as Annika.
Yeah, we've had quite the little journey with our health recently, right before we left. So last week, as you were listening to the podcast, if you listened last week, and if this is your first time joining us, welcome.
Where the hell you been?
Yeah, where the hell you been? But we're glad you're here now. Last week, as the pod was airing, I was actually in Disneyland. And for the first time in my foolish life, I chose to road trip.
Boo.
Now, I barely like to be in my car long enough to get to work. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what I was thinking, other than when we went to book the trip, it was like more than $2,000 to get a rental car. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm not paying that. And then it was all the money for the flights and the different things. I was like, and somewhere in my frugal brain it said, we could road trip this much. Of course, gas wasn't $4.50 a gallon. Mm-hmm. And in California, by the way, it was mostly $6 a gallon. God. So all those places where they tell you, it's cheaper if you pump your own gas, bullshit. Mm-mm. It's cheaper right here in Portland, Oregon, where I paid $4.29 yesterday. And the highest we paid there was a little over $6.
That's crazy.
Gross. Anyway, but we made it. It was a little touch and go in some spots, meaning I was going to touch someone's throat and then go.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is awful. Uh-huh. But we left on a Friday night. We left on the 29th of April, which I believe was, it was the 29th, was Friday. After work and after the kids got out of school, drove down to Northern California. First, I went to Crescent City. Now, City, I think, is super generous. Mm-hmm. It should be called Crescent Hole in the Wall.
Love that. Because
it is about as big as a hole in the wall. It's a teeny tiny little town.
Okay.
But it was lovely. I mean, it's right on the water. We went to their aquarium, Ocean World.
Ocean World.
Okay. Which also I thought was very generous. Ocean World. It should have been called Ocean Spot. Ocean Cove.
Ocean Spot. Ocean Puddle.
Ocean's 11. No, it was tiny. It was cute. It was cute. Mm-hmm. And the girl giving the tour was new. But the reason I was like, well, we're doing this road trip. Let's have some adventures on the way there. So when I saw that there was this place in the first city we were staying in, and it was a guided tour that took 45 minutes. I was like, perfect. We'll go in, we'll do our tour, we'll end in the gift shop. Well, you actually start in the gift shop and end in the gift shop. Okay. So they want to make sure you spend some money there. But it was cute. We got to see the fish. We got to see the seals and sea lions and whatever. That was lovely. And then we drove through the redwoods, which I've never done before.
Yeah.
You ever seen the redwoods? Oh my God, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
magical.
Beautiful. Yes. It really is. It's kind of mystical going through those giant trees.
They're scary big. Scary big.
Yeah. And so that was it. But between the redwoods and the Bay Area, there's a lot of boredom. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of, it looks like Eastern Oregon with the dry brown hills. Yeah. It was like yawn.
Boring.
And then GPS takes you to some place where I'm like, GPS, why did you take us off 101, loop us around some crazy thing to take us back to 101 to where our hotel is? I don't understand. I was like, because there was traffic or something. I don't know. But, however, we got there, we had fun. But, as we were leaving town, back to the health part of our journey, my youngest daughter was like, Mama, I feel gross. And I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, I'm sick, I have a sore throat, I'm coughing, whatever. I was like, oh boy.
That little bitch, it's her fault.
It is her fault. She started the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then we get down to California, and then my son is like, I'm sick now too. And I was like, great. Well, so, y'all, when I ask you to share, this is not what I had in mind.
No.
And then
Rude.
T got sick.
Disrespectful.
And then I got sick. And doing Disneyland when you're sick is just taxing. I mean, I still had fun. We still did the things. But when you're walking around a crowded park and your head feels all stuffy and you're dizzy and feel crappy generally, it's like, I don't have a whole lot of patience on the norm.
But and now you just spread the plague further.
I know. Well, that's and that's funny because we were in crowded places. We wore our masks. Everybody else was better about it than I was. A little lax in wearing my mask, but I didn't cough on anybody.
Listen, anti-masker. I don't want to hear it from you.
I did not. I wore my mask in close quarters, but whatever.
Listen, I'm sick currently, and I do everything in my power to not get fucking sick. I still wear my mask at work. I wear my mask wherever I go. It stresses me out, and I'm also now sick. I hate it here.
I know. And anyway, your spouse was super sick.
And that was what, yeah.
But I have to tell you the sweetest thing. When you texted and said that you had to go to the emergency room, Kinley was so freaked out. And she was like, well, we need to get home. We need to take care of them. And I said, well, baby, we are, by car, we're 18 hours away. So that's not really going to work.
Yeah.
And no one has said that it's dire.
Right.
So I think we'll be okay. But she was not right. She was like, we're supposed to be home taking care of our family.
That's so sweet. I know.
And she was very upset about it.
I know.
And so...
I love that she was so concerned. I mean...
She was. And then she was like, we need a video chat with them to make sure they're okay. And then she every day asked me, are they okay? They're okay. They're not feeling great, but they're okay.
We'll make it. Hey.
So here we are, and we're a day late recording because yesterday Miss Annika here was too sick to speak.
Yeah, I mean... Which
is shocking, because I didn't think anything kept you from talking.
Girl, I don't feel like much better today.
Well, I know, but at least you can talk.
You just really wanted to tell your goddamn story, so you're like, "Can we podcast?"
I know. I'm like, I would like to care about how you feel, but it's like just
I know. Well, what we learned from your vacation is that you don't care about how anyone else feels, as long as you're having a good time.
Yeah,
copy that.
I'm not sure why that's a problem.
Wow. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. Did you also vote for Trump? Anyway,
I'm sorry. Did you just ask if I voted for Trump?
LOL. Total LOL. It was a JK. Anyway, so on your trip, you left what, Friday?
We left Friday.
So that Sunday, my spousey spouse started to feel sick. And Monday, it was like full-blown illness. And that's when we had to go to the emergency room. Because they couldn't breathe. And so all week, super congested. They were. And not me. I was fine. All last week, I was fine. They got super congested. They had a cough, runny nose, like so much sinus pressure, chest pressure, fatigue. Like it was like the flu more than like that's what it feels like. We never got a fever. Now they're still sick, but they're probably at like 90%. I then on Sunday night started to feel this last Sunday night. So a week later, after going to the ER, started to feel just wonky, like lightheaded, a little tired, whatever. And then Monday, I went to work, but I was starting to feel very like under the weather. And I came home from work, I worked a short shift, and I took a little nap. And when I woke up, I was like done. I was done. And so now it's Thursday, and I can still not breathe, and I'm still congested, and I still have a phlegmy cough. I still have a fever, so that's good, but I don't know what this is. I took it.
We know it's not COVID. Right. There's that. You did get tested for the COVID.
Yeah, we've all taken COVID tests, so we're all fine.
We also did not have COVID.
Right? So there's that, but...
And on top of whatever we had, 3 of the 4 of us have allergies. So last I knew, I don't have any allergies. I might have developed some that I just don't know.
Yeah.
But I know that T and the kids have allergies.
Yeah. It's not, girl, it's not cute. And now that there is pollen everywhere. Thank God it's raining so much, to be honest. But there's so much pollen everywhere. You can see it everywhere. My car gets covered in pollen just being out here.
It is gross when you come out in the morning and your car is yellow.
Well, a month or so ago, I was at the Tony's Garden Center on Holgate, and I was walking through like a row of trees and plants, and a tree hit me, and my whole shoulder was just yellow. Like someone threw cumin on me. I was like, okay, it's the beginning of this, I guess. And I didn't really have allergies until I moved back from Los Angeles. Once I moved back from California, Oregon every year has fucked me up, spring and summer.
Yeah.
And this time of year is when I always get sick. My birthday, and then sometime in spring, for some reason. Never in like fall, never December. It's always my birthday.
Well, and that's, the thing about it being so green here is we do have all of the flowering plants that like to kill everyone.
Right. So, and my allergies were so bad the year the pandemic started that my doctor was like, so you're just going to take some Sudafed. But you want me to take Sudafed on the daily? That's just like taking speed. Like, I can't. I don't think it's a really good idea that you just make me take Sudafed daily. And it wasn't obviously daily, but when it got bad. But like hardcore nasal spray, Sudafed for everyone is bad. I was like, damn, girl, who knew? Who knew that I was going to develop such allergies?
Yeah, I know. I know. I will say, back to the other part of it, I hated the road tripping portion of it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
But I did enjoy seeing things I'd never seen before. Okay. And I enjoyed getting out of the rain.
Well,
when we got to Crescent City,
you went down 101.
We went down
the coast.
We were down 5 until we hit Grant's Pants.
Okay.
And then went over to the coast and drove that way. Yes. Well, we are driving this rickety-rackety, curvy, windy road through the Redwoods.
Okay.
At night.
Right.
Because it's the beginning of the Redwoods, right before Crescent City. And it is, you're looking up at these, tall cliffs and all this shit.
Scary.
And the roads are just black, because there's obviously no lighting. You're out in the middle of nothing.
Yeah.
Whatever, and it's windy and crazy. Well, we get to the first hotel and get checked in, and it was this crazy old hotel, but it was fun. It was fun. Our room was huge, but it was mostly empty open space.
Okay.
But there were 3 queen beds.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I had a bed to myself.
I love that.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then Kinley, who cannot sleep without kicking the shit out of people, got a bed to herself.
I love that.
Which was good. Anyway, but the girl at the front desk when I checked in, she's like, oh, you're so lucky you got here now. And I was like, why? And she said, well, there was a big spill on 101. Oh. I'm like, what kind of a spill? She goes, tar.
Oh, my God.
A tar truck flipped over.
Oh, hell no.
Dumped its load. Which I know that just sounded really dirty, huh?
Girl, can you never say dumped its load?
No, I gotta say it now at least 6 more times. But as it did it across the highway and into the river. Now, the only good thing there is as it all went into the river, because it was hot tar, and it hit the cold water, it solidified almost instantly, and they were able to pull it out in giant chunks.
Thank God.
But it closed the highway for an hour.
An hour?
An hour. Okay. But that means it backed it up for hours.
Oof,
and somehow we missed that, so there was that. That was crazy. Good. That was lovely.
That would have been
nice.
An omen, girl.
Yeah. But... I know that when I texted you, and I was telling you kind of how it was all going, sending you gifts of cars on fire and yeah. So this was on Sunday. So we'd already traveled. We were traveling now from the Bay Area to Anaheim, which, again, never again.
No, it's like 1,000 hours. And
it is 1,000 hours.
You didn't hit just LA. You had to go to Anaheim. So how long was that? 7, 8 hours?
It was 467 hours.
Okay, so close. I was so close.
You were so close. But what? So we sent you this text. I'm just going to read some text because they cracked me up. And this is one of the things that kept me sane. Is I sent Annika a text that says, day 347, we may never find civilization. I am certain I will die before we reach our final destination. I love you. And she wrote, ha ha ha, oh my God, I love you. I'm sorry you're on the Oregon Trail. Don't die of dysentery. And I said, well, we've already lost most of the party. And she goes, there are 4 of you. Most of the party is 3 people. So what I'm hearing is you're alone because you lost the family. LOL. And I said, well, The horses broke free, the cows were stolen by rustlers, and the goat we used for milk for the baby